Holy smokes, guys, Apple's MacBook Neo is finally here, and from the looks of it, Apple has absolutely knocked it out of the park. And based on what Mark Gurman said, there's going to be very high demand for Apple stores. Apple even is training their staff because of the insane demand they are expecting, because this MacBook looks absolutely awesome. However, there are a couple of things that we unfortunately are not getting. There's definitely some downsides compared to the Air, so we're going to cover all of the major new features and the downsides in this video. Let's get started. First of all, getting right into it, we have a 13.0 inch display. It actually might be 12.9 and Apple's rounding up to 13. That is smaller than the 13.6 on the MacBook Air. And the interesting thing is that the notch is not there. Some people are going to absolutely love this because there's quite a few people that hate the notch. Now you have the rounded corners are all the way around. They seem more rounded than before. It looks very, very nice and classy. I love the new wallpapers that they have that says MAC Mac on there. Looks great. We now have 4 very playful colors. We just ordered one. We ordered the, I think it was citrus. Looks really, really cool. And the one thing I like is that the keyboard is also color matched in a slightly lighter tone, which looks awesome. I think regular consumers, teenagers, students, and a lot of other people are going to go crazy for this new design. It even looks like the corners themselves on the MacBook are a lot more rounded, so it's a lot more playful, more for regular consumers. But the crazy thing, which is a downside on this new MacBook Neo, is that it is actually thicker. Believe it or not, it is half an inch thick compared to 0.44 inches on the MacBook Air, which to me doesn't really make sense because the battery is a lot smaller. It's 36.5 watt hours compared to 53.8 on the 13-inch MacBook Air. So why is it thicker? I don't know. Apple probably did it on purpose so that people pay more for the MacBook Air to make it seem kind of more high-end. And the weird thing is that it also weighs the same, 2.7 pounds on both the Neo and the Air, so I don't know how they're weighing the same with those differences in battery and everything else. And the downsides don't really stop there because we have the ports, and I was really expecting MagSafe 3 charging to show up on this MacBook with color matched cables, but no. All we get is a headphone jack and 2 USB-C ports, but it gets even worse because those are not USB 4 ports. One of them is USB 3, which supports 10 gigabit per second transfer speeds, and the other one is USB 2, so only 480 megabits per second. Ultra slow, that's lightning speeds on the other one. So it looks like you have to make sure you're using that one for charging and leaving the other one open for transferring and everything else. And as expected, since we don't have Thunderbolt, which is one of the major downsides compared to the more expensive MacBook Air, you only have one display supported, and it's limited to 60 hertz. So that's basically like using an iPad to show it up on a display, or even using your iPhone and have an external display. And speaking of the display, we have both good and bad news. Of course, it's 13-inch and you have 500 nits of brightness, which is actually very nice and bright. For a $599 MacBook, that is very bright compared to a lot of the budget Windows laptops you can find for that range. I mean, most of those have like 300 nit displays. Some even have 250. Even the Chromebooks, they have crappy, terrible displays. This one's actually super bright at 500 nits, but it's only sRGB. It does not have P3 color gamut support like the MacBook Air has, so that is a downside. The good news is that you still get a 1080p webcam, so you have good quality, but it is not the newer center stage, so that's one of the downsides there. It does say we have dual beamforming microphones, so hopefully those are going to sound good, and there's actually dual side firing speakers, which is a first for Apple. We usually have either bottom firing or up firing. Now it's out of the sides. They do say it supports Dolby Atmos with spatial audio, so they should sound pretty good, but not nearly as good as the other MacBooks. And now let's get into the performance. We have the A18 Pro chip, which was leaked. That was expected. We did think maybe we could get the A19 Pro, but we did not get that. But still, it's fine. It's still faster than the legendary M1 chip, which a lot of people still use the M1 MacBook Air. So this A18 Pro is faster. The only downside is that you're limited to 8 gigabytes of RAM, and there are no upgrade options for the RAM. It just stays at 8 gigs no matter which of the models you get. You only have an option of going between 256 gig storage base or going up to 512. No more options other than that, so it really is a consumer grade laptop. And if you pay more for the 512, it does come with the Touch ID keyboard, so that's a nice little upgrade. But there is a really big plus side to that, and that's the fact that it makes it super simple for regular consumers, teenagers, whoever else, to choose a model. You literally only have 2 options, no other options, nothing else, just 2. So it's very simple for people to upgrade. It doesn't confuse them and make them kind of wonder what to get, like the MacBook Pros that have a ton of different options. Just 2. Super simple, so I feel a ton of students, a ton of teens are gonna want these MacBooks. And now the battery life is a downside because you only have 16 hours of battery life compared to 18 and even more on the other MacBooks, so that is not as nice with that small 36.5 watt hour battery. And the charging is also very slow. It's 20-watt charging. At least that's the power adapter that comes in the box. I'm not sure if you'll be able to get faster charging if you get one of the bigger power adapters. I guess we'll find out. But with that power adapter, it's going to be pretty slow. I personally thought that we'd have the best battery life ever in any laptop because of that A18 Pro chip. But I guess maybe because of that display with the 500 nits and everything else, it's not as good as I thought it would be. Or maybe the M1 and the other chips are also just so efficient that it really doesn't matter that it's an A18 Pro. Who knows? But the upside is that you have Bluetooth 6, which is future-proofed, so that's nice. But for the Wi-Fi, we don't get Wi-Fi 7, it's Wi-Fi 6E only. But with all those features and details out of the way, the main point is the price, only $599. I mean, everybody on Twitter or X recently was saying, there's no way Apple's gonna make it $599. That is insanity, especially since they raised the MacBook Air price to $1099 with the doubling of storage. They thought for sure it's gonna come in at like $799 or something like that. But $599, guys, $600 is insane in this time because right now, laptops are getting more and more expensive with the storage shortages, the memory shortages. So $599 from Apple is completely unprecedented, and people are going to go crazy for that. I mean, instead of getting a cheap Chromebook or a budget Windows laptop, you can pay a couple $100 more and get a high-quality premium MacBook for $599. Believe it or not, $599 today was actually $477 in 2020. Yes, that's an inflation calculation right there. It makes no sense. If I told you in 2020 there'd be a $477 laptop, it's just nuts, and it is absolutely awesome that Apple is doing that. Well, you let me know your thoughts and all the features and everything down in the comment section below. Let me know if you're going to be ordering 1 or 2 or 3. Who knows? It's such a dang good deal. So with that said, we're going to be testing it as soon as it comes out next week. So subscribe above and check out one of those 2 videos right there. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.